Hello and welcome to Idea TV News Update. I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the headlines. EL-RUFAI files ₦1 billion suit against ICPC over Abuja home invasion. South Africa accepts Trump's new U.S. ambassador. Senegal activates 2 Africa cable to expand internet capacity. Togo begins review of aquaculture law. And away from Africa, Spain to declassify 1981 COUP documents. Still away from Africa, U.S. accuses China of rapid nuclear arsenal expansion. And in business, African green projects seek $3.09 billion funding in summit. And in health, OLUREMI Tinubu hails 14 million birth registrations in 2 years. And in sports, UEFA suspends BENFICA'S PRESTIANNI over racist abuse against VINICIUS. And now the news in full. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-RUFAI has filed a ₦1 billion fundamental rights enforcement suit against the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC), challenging what he described as the unlawful invasion and search of his Abuja residence. The suit marked FHC ABUJA CS 345/2026 and filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja 6 to nullify a search warrant issued by a magistrate court in the Federal Court in Abuja, in the Federal Capital Territory on the 4th of February. The warrant had authorized ICPC operatives to search and seize items at El-RUFAI's residence through his legal team led by Oluwole Iyamo. The former governor is asking the court to declare the warrant invalid and set aside all actions taken pursuant to it, arguing that the commission's conduct violated his fundamental rights. El-RUFAI has been in ICPC custody since the 18th of February in connection with ongoing investigations, the details of which have not been officially disclosed. His media aide, Muyiwa Adekeye, said the former governor's Aso Drive residence was searched by operatives, while his lawyer condemned the operation as unlawful and a breach of due process. Moving on, South Africa on Monday said it had accepted the conservative envoy nominated by Donald Trump as the new United States ambassador, despite strained relations between the two countries. An official confirmed that the Foreign Affairs Department had approved the appointment of Brent Bozell, with an accreditation ceremony expected to take place in April with President Cyril Ramaphosa. Tensions between Pretoria and Washington have deepened over several policy disagreements, including South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, as well as diplomatic expulsions earlier this year. A U.S. State Department official said Bozell looked forward to representing the America First foreign policy agenda in Pretoria. At his Senate confirmation hearing, Bozell pledged to push South Africa to withdraw its case against Israel and to address what he described as a Pretoria's geostrategic drift towards Russia, China, and Iran. He also reiterated support for Trump's offer of refugee status to white Afrikaners, repeating claims by the U.S. administration that they face discrimination under the post-apartheid government. Still in Africa, Sonatel has activated the 2 Africa subsea cables, significantly increasing Senegal's international internet capacity. The company announced on February 20th that the system is now operational as part of efforts to strengthen broadband access and network resilience. The 45,000-kilometer cable connects 33 countries across 3 continents and delivers up to 180 terabytes per second, about 10 times the capacity of older systems. It is designed to support growing digital demand and accelerate 4G and 5G deployment. With the addition of 2 Africa, Senegal is now linked to 5 international subsea cables as internet adoption rises. By the end of 2025, more than 11.6 million people, 60.6% of the population, were using the internet. The government of Togo has launched a review of its aquaculture legislation to strengthen regulation and biosecurity in the fast-growing sector. Stakeholders met in Lomé on the 20th of February to adopt findings from a study assessing the current legal framework The initiative is led by the Ministry of Agriculture with support from the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Authorities say the reform will align national laws with regional standards and introduce biosecurity measures that are currently absent. Aquaculture output is now approaching 3,500 tons, up from about 120 tons in the 2010s. Officials say the revision is aimed at sustaining growth, reducing fish imports and protecting aquatic resources from diseases linked to live fish and feed imports. We now take a quick break. The news continues when we return. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Idea TV News Update. Now the rest of the news. Away from Africa, the government of Spain said today it will release classified documents linked to the failed February 23, 1981 coup attempt, describing the move as repayment of a historical debt to citizens. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announced that the cabinet is expected to approve the declassification on Tuesday, with the files to be published on the official website of La Moncloa. The coup saw armed officers storm parliament and hold lawmakers hostage for nearly 24 hours. The uprising collapsed after Juan Carlos addressed the nation, refusing to back the plot. The failed takeover is widely seen as a defining moment in Spain's transition to democracy following the dictatorship of Francisco Franco. Still away from Africa, the United States has accused China of massively expanding its nuclear arsenal and called for Beijing to join any future arms control agreement. Speaking on Monday in Geneva, a senior U.S. official said China's weapons build-up has been rapid and opaque. Washington says China could reach parity with the United States and Russia within 4 to 5 years and may have enough fissile material for more than 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030. The comments come after the expiration of the New START Treaty of February 5th, the last remaining nuclear arms pact between Washington and Moscow. The U.S. also repeated allegations that China conducted a low-yield nuclear test in 2020, a claim Beijing denied. The lapse of New START has raised fears of a renewed global arms race, although Washington says it remains committed to negotiating a new agreement. Now in business news, green projects across more than 25 African countries are seeking about $3.09 billion in funding ahead of the Africa's Green Economy Summit 2026, scheduled to be held in Cape Town, South Africa. Organizers say the event pipeline includes early-stage SMEs as well as large-scale infrastructure opportunities in renewable energy, waste management, circular economy solutions, sustainable agriculture, and the blue economy and nature-based projects. The summit, organized by VUCA Group, is designed to accelerate transactions through pitch sessions, investor briefings, and curated matchmaking between founders and development finance institutions, commercial banks, and venture funds. Financing structures expected at the event include catalytic capital, blended finance, concessional funding, and structured risk mitigation tools to unlock large-scale climate solution deployment. The event is led by the African Union with Sanlam Investments as title sponsor and Standard Bank as gold sponsor. It is hosted in partnership with the City of Cape Town and supported by institutions including the Development Bank of Southern Africa, as investors are urged to move from pledges to active capital deployment across Africa's green economy. And now in health news, Nigeria's First Lady OLUREMI Tinubu has applauded the registration of 14 million children in the past 2 years, describing it as a major milestone in protecting the identity and rights of every Nigerian child. She gave the commendation after receiving the country representative of UNICEF in Nigeria, Miss Wafa Abdelateef, who briefed her on the progress recorded in birth registration nationwide. According to the First Lady, UNICEF disclosed during the meeting that the number of officially registered births in Nigeria rose significantly to 14 million within the last 2 years. She said the achievement reflects a collective commitment to safeguarding children's rights and strengthening identity systems across the country. Tinubu also appreciated development partners, the 36 state first ladies and other stakeholders for their support in advancing child welfare initiatives. She further commended progress made in combating HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, cervical cancer, syphilis, hepatitis B, female genital mutilation and other diseases, urging sustained collaboration to enable Nigeria meet global health targets ahead of the 2030 deadline. Finally, in sports news, UEFA has provisionally suspended Gianluca Prestianni ahead of SL Beneficia Champions League playoff second leg against Real Madrid CF following allegations that he racially abused Vinicius Jr. The disciplinary body said Prestianni would miss the next UEFA club competition match pending the outcome of an ongoing investigation into the alleged incident during the last week's first leg in Lisbon. According to UEFA, an ethics and disciplinary inspector was appointed to examine claims of discriminatory behavior during the February 17 encounter, which Real Madrid won 1-0. The referee reportedly activated UEFA's anti-racism protocol after Vinicius accused Prestianni of directing a racist remark at him following his goal, leading to a brief suspension of play. Vinicius later condemned racism on social media, while UEFA said the provisional suspension was without prejudice to any further ruling. Prestianni has denied making a racist comment, claiming instead that he used a different offensive remark, while Benfica has publicly backed the player as it prepares its defense. The case has reignited concerns over racism in European football, particularly given Vinicius Jr.'s history of facing abuse. Further sanctions, including a possible extended ban, could follow depending on the outcome of the investigation. And now, that's all we have for you on Idea TV News Updates. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that EL-RUFAI files ₦1 billion suit against ICPC over ABUJA home invasion. And South Africa accepts Trump's new U.S. ambassador. Senegal activates 2 Africa cable to expand internet capacity. And Togo begins review of aquaculture law. And away from Africa, Spain is set to declassify 1981 COUP documents. And also, the U.S. accuses China of rapid nuclear arsenal expansion. And in business, African Green Project seeks $3.09 billion funding. In health, OLUREMI, Tinubu hails 14 million birth registrations in 2 years. And finally, in sports, UEFA suspends BENFICA'S PRESTIANNI over racist abuse against Vinicius. And now, do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for your time.